Hey everybody, thank you for watching another episode of the Trampionship Wrestling Weekend Show. We got a lot of news this week, but nothing coming up. There is not a single show on my schedule for this weekend or for the week up until next weekend's big shows. Next Saturday is going to be huge, but tonight, the night you're watching this, if you're watching the day it goes up, nothing. So let's just get right to the news. So let's start off with Power Struggle. The big news coming out of there, a lot of people woke up to it the next day that didn't stay up that night. Kenny Omega has a challenger for his United States Championship for Wrestle Kingdom, and in case you've been living under a rock, it is Chris Jericho. Now, people are saying that Chris Jericho is under a WWE contract. He's not under WWE contract. Apparently this is something that Meltzer is working on. He's trying to get to the bottom of it. He and Jericho are rumored to be pretty close, that Jericho is one of his big WWE sources. So if anybody can get to the bottom of it, it's going to be him. There's rumors that this is Jericho, the whole time that he was saying he's a WWE guy for life, that was a work, and it was just when the opportunity came through, he would take it. We know that he loves wrestling the major indie stars. He's made a point of it. For about the last 6 or 7 years, he's made a point of working with anybody and everybody that he didn't have a chance to when he wouldn't go work on the indies. Neville signed, he works with Neville. Kevin Owens signs, he works with Kevin Owens. Daniel Bryan signs, he works with Daniel Bryan. He loves these guys on the indies, and WWE would usually let him work with anybody he wanted to, even if it was just a single match. But with Kenny Omega not being there, he doesn't get that chance. So this could be him going off and doing that. As far as we know, it's just the one match. We haven't heard anything about him doing any kind of tour to promote it. He might even be working with Fozzy at the time, we don't know. But he will be there January 4th. Possibly January 5th for New Year's Dash, we don't know. And that could be it. There is the possibility that he is still under WWE contract and they are letting him do this. And there's some speculation that if that is the case, that this is kind of an overture from Vince McMahon to Kenny Omega, which would go a long way after the whole cease and desist stuff with the Young Bucks and the Bullet Club. So who knows? Speculation all around. The other big news was, as part of the UK tour, we had a couple big title changes happen on Raw and Smackdown. First on Raw, we had the New Day come out during the main event, and as they put it, pump fake a second Under Siege invasion. Instead of storming the ring, it was just the 3 members of the New Day who just served to distract everybody at ringside, which gave the Bar the chance to unseat the champions, Ambrose and Rollins. Speculation is that this is to feed into a 3-on-3 match between the Shield and the New Day, which would probably be made official either Monday or Tuesday coming up, considering there's no other chance to put that match together for Survivor Series. We don't know how long this Shield reunion is going to last, but Roman Reigns is supposed to be making his return on Monday, so this would fit into it perfectly. They slightly teased the Shield versus the New Day in the past, but never with any kind of seriousness. The focus was always on the Wyatt family versus the Shield, and the New Day may not be as physically dominant as either of those two teams, but as far as success in the ring goes, they are leaps and bounds above. They never broke apart like the Wyatt family and the Shield did. They had the record-breaking the tag team championship. They are the most dominant, as far as success goes, tag team. So this would be a killer match, especially if none of them are being used for anything else on the show. Then on SmackDown, we had AJ Styles take the belt from Jinder Mahal. This was presumably to give us a better match than Jinder versus Brock, because I don't think anybody was looking forward to that, but AJ Styles versus Brock is going to be one hell of a match. But I do expect that match to end with interference by Jinder Mahal as he tries to get revenge on AJ Styles for taking his belt. This gives Brock the win, but it lets AJ save face that he's not necessarily a worse champion than Brock. You don't have that domination thing. It gives him a nice screwy way out. I think we'd all prefer a clean match, but with what's at stake with the brands looking for supremacy, you can't really afford to have that clean of a finish. I could be wrong, and I would love to be wrong, but I'm expecting Jinder to be involved. The final bit of news that we have just from TV itself is Bound for Glory took place this past weekend. That was Impact's biggest show of the year, and they ended their main event with a schmoz. Alberto El Patron returned and made what some people said was supposed to be a babyface promo about how he got screwed out of the title when he was under investigation for domestic abuse. Not very sympathetic, but he did go full heel in the main event when he interfered and cost Johnny Impact the championship. He attacked both competitors, but ended up in the end that Eli Drake was able to retain the championship. Johnny Impact now feuding with Alberto El Patron. People are not happy with Impact's biggest show ending with a screwy run-in. I don't blame them. I'm one of them that's not happy. Impact, they take so many steps forward and then they cannot help themselves from taking steps backwards. They cannot help themselves. Whatever company they call themselves, whatever they ally with, whoever's running it, whoever's doing whatever, they just cannot help themselves from making stupid decisions like that. Speaking of Alberto El Patron / Alberto Del Rio, there was a snap sent out by a friend of Paige, where Paige was sitting at a bar and behind her two lovebirds were making out, quite oblivious to the world around them, and Paige said, "This is why I'm single."
This is why I'm single.
Everybody is taking at face value. We really have no reason not to believe that she meant exactly what she said, and that she and Alberto El Patron are no longer a couple. We got news from Ryan Satin over at Pro Wrestling Sheet. We're going to throw the link down in the comments about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were apparently sent home from the UK tour after an incident at Smackdown Live. Apparently they were supposed to stay in the ring and get beat up by the New Day a little bit longer than they did, and instead they bailed. And now Ryan Satin is hearing from other people on the SmackDown roster that apparently those two are not very easy to work with. They haven't been happy, even with this new turn for Sami that's giving him a lot more exposure. Apparently just not getting their way and not happy about it. So maybe they'll be back by this coming Tuesday. Maybe. Finally, a bit of news we have from Mike Johnson over at pwinsider.com. We'll throw that link down at the bottom as well. We have heard that Rockstar Spud has signed with WWE, or rather is about to sign as soon as his visa paperwork is cleared up. He was recently released from Impact, apparently upon his own request. He had not worked for Impact for the past couple tapings. He was being used as a ring announcer, and then they took him off that for his feud with Swoggle. Swoggle has not been around, nor has Spud. I did not realize he was still with the company, but he is now gone and has committed verbally, apparently, with WWE, and will be heading to 205 Live. We saw on the UK tour that the Cruiserweights were merged for that tour with the UK tournament challengers that are still under contract, which is nice because we haven't gotten to see them very often. They don't show up at NXT tapings all the time, so they're not always showcased. Some fabulous wrestlers that are part of that group, and it's not known if this is a sign that they're trying to integrate those divisions more, or if Spud's signing is just going to be completely independent. Either way, he's a fantastic talent, one of the best on the mic that's not part of the WWE system at this point. So he is definitely going to bring a lot of charisma and energy to 205 that is kind of lacking to some extent. There's not a whole lot on that roster right now that can really kind of provide the character that Rockstar Spud is going to. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him however they end up using him. And that's all we've got. Like I said, there's no shows until next Saturday, and then we've got a triple booked night with NXT going against 2 shows on Twitch. But we'll get into that later. Watch next week for more on that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. Thank you for checking out the WWE 2K18 sim videos. If that is your jam, I will be adding more of those in the very near future. I want to have as many ahead of Survivor Series as I can. Those will be coming up this week. Thank you guys. I love you. As always, I am the Tramp. Cheers.